Spoiler alert, it's not your backpack. Hey, what's up guys? My name's Dan. I'm into hiking and backpacking and gear. If you guys are into that stuff too, subscribe to the channel. That's what this channel's all about. And I think I figured it out. I think I figured out why you guys keep coming back week after week and you guys watch the channel. I've got it nailed down. It's pretty obvious that I'm just easy on the eyes. I get it. So, all right, I'm messing around. Listen, today we're gonna talk about the one piece of gear you need to buy before you buy anything else. If I had known this going into backpacking, this would have saved me so much grief. If it's early on and you haven't bought a ton of gear, buy this piece of gear first, because I truly believe that this is the heart of your backpacking setup, your backpacking system, and what it can do for you is make sure that everything else gets rounded out correctly so that you are having a better experience when you're hiking, you're having a better experience at camp. The whole thing is just gonna be playing out a whole lot better for you. So I'm gonna tell you a story first because I need the watch time, all right? When I first started buying gear, I should have been in the mindset of backpacking first. I was more in the mindset of car camping because I didn't know any better. And then I ended up buying, you know, a backpack and some other things, and nothing worked out, nothing fit in it. And I ended up coming back home and returning a bunch of stuff, rebuying stuff, and spending way more money than I should have because I should have gotten this piece of gear first. So I'm gonna tell you not only the first piece of gear you should buy, but then the second piece of gear you should buy, and even the third piece of gear you should buy. I think it's important that these three pieces of gear get purchased in this order, and I'm gonna explain why. I think it's gonna save you guys a lot of grief down the road. I know I'm gonna get a lot of feedback from some of you guys, some positive, some, you know, maybe opposing feedback from some of you guys, and that's totally cool. If you guys think that this way to buy gear isn't the right way to do it, help us all out with good, encouraging, and positive feedback. So the very first piece of gear that you need to buy before you buy anything else is going to be your shelter. Your shelter is going to determine the size of the backpack you need. Let me show you what I mean. Maybe you've got a tent like this. This is the Kelty Trail Ridge 3-person tent. This is the first backpacking tent I bought. Why are you laughing at me? What? What's so funny? It is a backpacking tent, okay? I swear. It says so right here, backpacking tent. Right there, you see that? It is a backpacking tent. But look at this thing, it's huge. This thing, the packed weight is 7.6 pounds. You know, that's besides the point. Look at how big this thing is. It's like 3 times the size of my already ginormous head. You know, if I had bought my backpack first, instead of buying this first, I probably would have bought a backpack that's too small, or it just wouldn't have fit in it correctly. So if you've got something like this, that's gonna make a huge difference. Or maybe you've got something like this. This is the hammock, the Dream Hammock, Darien, but this thing crunches down really small. I mean, I could put this inside of a stuff sack and likely get it about the size of a softball. But a shelter like this means I don't need a backpack that's as large. What it ends up being is that there's really two types of shelters. You've got your hammock and you have your tent. And you know, I consider like a tarp or a bivvy more of a tent or ground style sleeping. So I'm just gonna use the word tent as sort of that umbrella for that type of shelter. So there's really just the two types in my opinion. You got your hammock, you got your tent, and either way is gonna determine all of the other gear that you're gonna buy for your backpacking system for the most part, and it's gonna send you spiraling down this trail, no pun intended, of exactly what you're gonna end up at the end in your whole entire backpacking setup. So the second piece of gear that you need to buy, and this is super important to buy stuff in this order, it's gonna be your sleep system, because you now know the basics of your backpacking system since you've already bought your shelter. You already know which road you're gonna end up going down. You've got your hammock, or you've got your tent or your ground setup. So your sleep system could be a pad, it's going to be your sleeping bag, it's going to be an underquilt, a top quilt, a tarp, something along those lines. You're gonna wanna make sure that you buy that second. Why am I buying that second, Dan? I'll explain it to you. Because your sleep system is part of the most bulky, heavy stuff that you're gonna have in your entire backpacking system. It's also going to be big enough that it's going to take up a ton of room inside your backpack, depending on what it is, especially if it's your first time or second time or even your third or fourth time going backpacking. The chances of you having something small when you first start out is going to be pretty slim. Pretty slim, small. Get it? Another tip for you guys that I think is going to be super helpful in picking out your sleep system, something I wish I would have learned early on, something that would have saved me literally hundreds and hundreds of dollars, is to buy the right temperature rating. So I'll just touch briefly on this. Here's what I would recommend. If you are in a 4-season environment, I'm here in the Midwest, you can tell it is fall and it is snowing and it is literally 20 degrees outside right now. I'm going to buy a 20-degree setup to give me that all-around 4-season capability for the most part. It's not going to be too ultra hot for the summertime because I can open up my sleeping bag. And in the wintertime or the colder months, I've still got at least a 20-degree setup. So if you're in the warmer climates, you could probably get away with something a little bit less, a little bit lighter. Maybe a 40-degree setup. I know sometimes even down in Florida and some of the other tropical environments, it can get down pretty cold at night. You always want to have that capability. A little bit of a tip for you guys on picking out that sleep system. All right, so now you've got your shelter, you've got your sleep system all bought, you've spent a ton of money on it. The third piece of gear you need to buy, and do it in this order, and it's going to make sense here in just a second, is going to be your backpack. Now you can finally buy that backpack. I know it seems counterintuitive. I know when you go backpacking, you think, well, I got to go buy a backpack. But when you buy that backpack, you now know what size backpack you need because you know the size and the weight of your sleep system. You know the size and the weight of your shelter, and that sleep system is based on the shelter. So you're kind of working your way down to that backpack. Also, doing it this order is going to stop you, or at least help stop you, from being an overpacker. So you're going to buy the backpack that's just large enough to not only hold that shelter and that sleep system, but it's also going to give you just enough room for the extra items that you're going to need. So that way you're not overpacking for some of those trips, and it's going to determine how comfortable you'll be as well as you're hiking. That's it. This is what I got for you today. I hope that helps you guys out. Go out and buy that shelter, buy that sleep system, buy that backpack, do it in that order, and then you got tons of extra space to buy all that other stuff that you need for your backpacking trip. And use my affiliate links below. It just makes sense, right? You're just helping me out. I give you all these free videos every week. It doesn't hurt you any. Click on it, then go buy it. Come on, support my channel, would ya?